bathrooms in Lemons that we go to.
It certainly is a great showers.
Lots. Yeah.
Oh, they clean everything so well all the time.
Although here's a top tip on the showers. If no one else is in the showers, like if it's not busy at the time you're going, like if you're going in the middle of the night, turn on 2 showers, because the hot water place is a long way away from, it's on demand and it's a ways away from the bathroom. So you actually need 2 showers going to get it moving enough to actually get good hot water.
That's wasting water.
It is wasting water.
Because as soon as it gets hot, you turn it right back off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to get him going though.
Oh. Yeah, you have to thaw your turkey in the other shower anyway, right?
Yeah,
yes, we've done that. We did that.
All right, time for track walk.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay.
Cool.
I would like to point out to my co-host that now there is a link to the spooky UNR.
Oh,
well, if I'm doing track walk, I can't.
It's all right. I'll do it.
Thanks, Jeff. All right. So let's look at this track. So we're going to use a track map that has 12 turns on it. Some number the turns up to 14. We're not going to do that. We're going to do the ones to 12 because this is the good track map that I could find. So that's the one I'm going to use. Okay, let's share a screen, make this happen. Do I get to share a screen?
You should.
I do.
Should.
That's amazing. Fantastic. Okay. So we're going to start off by talking about how to get on the track, actually, which is a little different here if you've never been. So you stay to the south side of the central garage to get on the track. That's the one where HQ is. Again, track with the garage on your right. You go straight to the fence. You get checked probably by Betty Blue Nose, who will pull your helmet strap so tight that it actually chokes you.
Jars.
So then,
yeah.
Yep. So then you'll have to undo it as you go down pit lane, unfortunately. So you go left onto pit lane, and at the end of pit lane, that's during the race, that's where Ken usually is, making sure you're okay. So you turn left there at turn 1, and you follow a coned path all the way past turn 2. So like you're following just inside the track all the way around into turn 2. And once you go through turn 2, where the cone path is so tight that the big cars were going to struggle through some of those things. Like, I don't know how the Lementarians make it through there with their Cadillac.
Right, right.
That's why the cones all get wiped out there. So you get through turn 2. And,
I'm sorry, I should mention that it's actually kind of hard to see. And so make sure that you're actually, if you're just only sort of looking at the video on YouTube, that you actually look at where Chris is pointing, because it is a deceptively long pit out.
You go all the way around to turn 2. You got the really tight corner at turn 2 where you're like inches away from the wall, inches away from the cones, but that gets you onto the straight between 2 and 3, where there's plenty of room to accelerate and meet up with traffic who are coming in very tightly on the other side of you. So also when you're coming through that tight turn at 2, watch out for stalled cars that may be in the blend line, because you can't see a thing. Like, a Citroen.
The blend line.
Yeah. A certain Citroen may have given one of us a fright or two, but stalling
so
in
much.
That spot, have to get pushed.
I got that on my card. Hold on a minute.
Right. But also, I remember a great Citroen video that happened up the hill in 3. Go ahead. Keep going.
Great. All right. So once you get on this blend line, just stay all the way to the left of the track, all the way to turn 3. Just do that, please. It's really not hard. Just stay there.
It's straight.
All right.
Gives you a great visual into 3.
does.
There's no reason. There's just no reason.
I know. Well, how does that doesn't stop people, right? Come on. Okay. Turn 3. Turn 3 is a very hard right turn onto the road course from the NASCAR Oval. In the last couple of years, they have changed the pavement and made it wider to the left. And they put some cones out. Those cones are going to be gone by about hour 2.
Yeah.
So use the pavement all the way to the left to set yourself up for turn 3. it's really a good straight line braking. You get plenty of speed coming in here, and you're gonna have to lose a lot of speed because you are doing a 180-degree turn essentially as you go through this corner. So people will try to go 3 wide regularly, occasionally 4 wide. It's amazing how much people push in this corner.
No, 4 wide.
Oh yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
4 wide coming here.
There is not enough,
especially right
room.
here.
No,
It's 4
there is
wide.
not
Yeah.
enough pavement, and then they get all mad.
There is
And
not.
then it snakes down to right where it goes on the uphill, the jarring uphill. That's where it's narrow enough you cannot fit 3, you can't fit 4. So
Right.
everyone has to sort themselves out. So the fastest line is to stay way wide in 3 and then cut yourself in and be understeering as you're crossing the track, because as soon as you hit the uphill, you all of a sudden get lots and lots of traction. So
Mhm.
great. Use that traction that you get from the suspension compression to climb the hill at 4. Beware though, there's all kinds of things to worry about in this corner if things are going to be different.
Can I say something about 3?
Yeah,
There are a
please.
ton of people who are going to dive to the inside and try and dive bomb this, and that's where the 4 wide comes from. So they usually a tire pile or something movable there, and someone hits it just about every weekend.
Yep.
It
Now the apex here is going to be your second to last blue gator, and the gators there's no grip in any of this stuff. Like it's terrible. There's the gators on the inside of 3. They've made it so that you can actually cut completely in the side of them and not even touch them, which I have definitely done it a few times.
and that's what I'm saying. That's what people do. They clip this apex so hard to try and get around whatever movable obstruction is there.
Yeah, I've done it. Sorry, but I try not to, but occasionally you just have to. So get around people that way. So you're going to get forced into different spots. Know that there's definitely a big pothole on the inside, right where the track transitions. Look for that. Be careful. There is a flag station at the outside of the corner. So as you're coming down between 2 and 3, watch that flag station on the outside. It's not where this red thing is on the inside. It's out here,
Right.
like in the side of the fence. So
Easiest one to see in the entire
Yeah, it's
track.
right at your
yeah,
eyes.
if you
miss
miss
it.
it, you're a jerk. So
Yeah.
all right. So you come up to 3, you go wide, hit that apex right around the curbing, or not curbing, the rumble strips. Push yourself out to 4, cut the inside of 4. Watch out for people who have traction problems coming up the inside, especially the tighter you are to the inside of 4, the worse traction problems you're going to have. But definitely people are just going to, people with stock open differentials are going to just spin a tire going up that hill and slow down. And then where they get halfway up the hill and they shift.
Yep.
Right, halfway up the hill, you shift and all of a sudden, and you're not going anywhere anymore.
Yep.
So these are the challenges you watch out as you climb the very steep hill for turn 4. As but the turn 4 gets very wide though for a bit, but then it narrows right back down at the crest.
These
of the
corner
hill, so be
stations are
careful.
like so wrong.
Yeah,
They're
this-
not right.
No, 5 is on the other side. I mean, this
Yep.
is the SCCA track night.
I know. That's why I'm amazed, because half of these are wrong.
The takeaway is that on the inside of turn 4, it is, in addition to being full of evil spirits that will take away your traction and then take away your momentum when you shift, it has the most evil of signs on the inside of that corner.
Oh yeah,
The black flag.
that's true. Also, there's a boulder over.
Oh, look
here.
at don't look at the
It's-
boulder.
Don't look at it when
Don't
you're
look-
not driving at
Don't
speed.
look at the
There's a
boulder.
boulder over there. And we only know this because one time a car hit the boulder and all of us said, "What boulder?" Unfortunately, that boulder prevented them from falling down the cliff.
I still have never seen it from the track surface in a car. I don't know how you.
Don't look
I
at
don't
the
know how
boulder.
to do
Why
either.
your eyes are there? I
Don't
don't know.
do it.
Who knows? Anyway, get yourself up over the hill.
Wow.
Watch the black
Wow.
flag at 5. All right, Jeff is moving his microphone around and showing us a dog. That is a scary, frightening dogs. Yep. So frightening.
Hellhounds.
Hellhounds. That's great. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so you're coming up over 5. 5 is a blind crest. What
A
I find though
charge
is
into the horrible unknown.
it is, and being blind is scary. So here's my tip for coming up over
blinded.
5. Yeah, exactly. Look in the distance. Beyond the track is a parking lot. There's always something in that parking lot that you can make as a visual reference to point to. One time it was a porta potty for me.
Yep,
One
the
time
porta
it was
potty.
a dumpster. One time it was a particular maple tree that was very picturesque, as is in New Hampshire this
There's
time of year.
also a few flags out there. So I
Yeah.
think
It
there's a
varies.
flag.
Every year they've got something else out in that field. So find something out in the, it's way over here in the field. It's way off in the distance, but find something. So as you're cresting the hill, because you're cresting the hill and the track kind of goes right a bit, even though it doesn't show it on here. It does a little because of the way it tapers. So you want to be all the way to the right if for fastest lap, but otherwise you're going to be passing a lot of people on the inside of this too. So watch out for something in the distance. All right.
And again, that flag station does not exist. No flag station inside there.
No, there's a flag station out here. It's on the outside of the bowl is a flag station.
Yeah.
Way out here. Okay. Turn 6. This is the container of the dark spirits. So it's a bowl. No, it's the bowl. The bowl is turn 6 and 7. This is a great corner. It is so much fun if you do it right. If you do it wrong, you just end up beached in the gravel and hate your life. So the best way through 6 and 7 is you stay all the way right coming to 6 as you come down the hill. As you get to the bottom of the hill, you can brake really, really hard because you're compressing the suspension and bottoming out. So do that. Like, wait, you'd be surprised how late you can brake into 6. Once you do, look left. And when I say look left, I mean look
it's left and up.
Oh, I was going to say this is this is an eyes up. If you do your check marks of like I do, you're going to be slow and wrong.
Yeah,
eyes up.
You have to look all the way left. And the way to get through this whole thing is you turn in once decisively, because this has a lot of banking. So use that banking, turn in once decisively hard that gets you all the way down, like dive down to the apex curving, dive all the way down. And then as again, you're continuing to look up, and now you're looking up and around the hill. You want to gently, gradually unwind the wheel back to straight as you come up out of the hill. If you ever have to add steering input again, you did it wrong. You probably turned in early is what it was. The way through this corner is one hard turn in, gradual, gentle unwind. And as you climb up out of the bowl, watch out for people who are in the wrong gear and are slow. Watch out for people who have no power. Watch out for people who turned in too early and are pushing wide out of the top of the bowl, because once you hit the top, you lose all that camber. Not only do you lose all the camber, it actually camber then goes the other way. And then beyond that is a pit of round gravel that sucks you in really hard.
Like trying to drag you to the underworld.
It's quicksand.
I've driven this, I don't have nearly the laps you have, but I've got a decent amount of laps for someone who's never lived in the Northeast around this track. If you get the opportunity outside of turn 7, there are some bleachers. You have to kind of like go through the underground tunnel under turn 2, come out and go around. But you can absolutely sit there for 10, 15, even 20 minutes and watch the incredible difference between people who do what Chris said and people who do what Chris said not to do. People that are turning too early, people that are in the wrong gear, very fast cars come in that corner. And if they do it wrong, they fall flat on their face. And even after all the laps I had there, sitting in those bleachers for a little while, watching that really reinforced how to take that corner, because there is so much great passing to be had if you do it right.
And there's if you screw this up, it costs you so much time, because once you turn into 6, you're carrying that full throttle all the way up past 8.
Yeah, the 7, 8, 9 section is a great place to catch fools and pass them out.
Yeah, absolutely. So just remember, turn in once, gradual unwind, and it all work. When you do it right, it flows perfectly, and you'll say, all right, I see what you're talking about.
It's beautiful.
You end up, you hit the apex at the bottom of the hill. You go out further again, then you hit the apex again at 7, right by the boulder, which there's a flag station right here behind a boulder there. And then gradually you just end up unwinding the wheel to straight as you touch the right side of the pavement, coming up to 8. 8 is a flag station up in a tree. Basically, it used to be like in a cherry picker, but now they've actually made it a nice little tree house basically.
Treehouse of Horror.
It is a treehouse of horror. Thank you. You're on point today, Michael. So you come up over 8. You can get a lot of passing done here, but watch out. I always worry when I'm passing people coming past 8 because they're not looking for me on the outside of 8. You've got to make sure you get notably past them coming into 9. Otherwise, they're for some reason people like to go left here, and I don't get it, but they do.
Yeah, they really do like to turn early into 9, which is why you end up with gravel all over the entrance.
Always at the beginning, the entrance to 9 is always gravel everywhere. So the way I like to do this is come up to 8, hug the right side curbing through 8. Just hug it right alongside.
Yep.
And then straighten it out. There is a curve here, but make it a straight for your braking so that you come in, you're staying on the gas past the apex of 8, goes over the crest of the hill, and you're looking up into 9. And then as you get close to 9, eventually then brake in a straight line and take a really, really late apex for 9. Essentially, your apex is your
exit.
Like, there is no track out. Right.
Yeah.
You're exiting the corner at the apex. There is 0 track out because you are setting yourself up for the next couple of turns. At the side of 9, after 9, the little tiny straight as you're heading down toward the track, there is some Jersey barriers.
Yeah.
They are black and white striped, I think. And I always like to make sure I get my car settled, neutral suspension as I'm right next to those. Like, just get it settled for that half second. And then, because you're about to then go over 2 big bumps as you hit the NASCAR oval and then go over the other side of the NASCAR oval. So be careful there because it's going to upset your car. So you don't want to come into it with the car already upset. You want to have it settled before you do. So you can.
Can I ask a question here?
Sure.
As we're looking at the map, and again, if you're not on YouTube, we apologize for describing things visually, but this makes it look like you come straight across the NASCAR oval. It's really much more diagonal than that, isn't it?
Well, it opens up. Like, it's the track is not a set width everywhere you go. The track opens up a lot. Like, it gets really, really wide here. So as you're coming, at hitting the NASCAR oval, there's also a really big bump on the inside of the apex. We call it the turtle.
Yeah.
Don't hit the turtle.
Evil turtle.
It is.
He is possessed by
the blue
demons
shell.
and has the ability to move giant objects.
Yeah. This is the blue shell from Mario Kart. It will flip your car if you hit it hard enough. I've seen it happen. So avoid the turtle. And there is a flag station that's not, the flag station is actually on the inside. It's kind of behind the turtle. I think that's why they leave the turtle there, to keep people away from the guy who just it's like a terrible flag station. It's a guy like hiding behind a wall. Right,
like a corner. It's like he's like the guy in the cop movie.
I also don't think it's always a guy. Actually,
true. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to genderize.
That's okay.
A person, like,
but they do hide
corner,
until there's something wrong, and then they come out, and then they
come
hide.
out and they wave their flag, and then they hide behind the wall again. Like, they're totally hiding behind here. So
if you think you see a flash of yellow, you see a yellow.
You saw it. Yep.
Yeah. So slow down, because something probably sinister, or as a minimum, a car spun out in front of you.
Yep. So after come up after 9, the car is neutral by the Jersey barriers. I like to just touch the brake just before I get to the bottom of this hill, because I'd like to settle the nose. And after that, start your turn in, because you actually want to start your turn. If you just go straight down here, you're going to hit the bumps. The suspension's going to be unsettled. You're going to hit the bumps on the other side, still unsettled, and you're going to have a hard time making this turn. So if you start turning right before you hit the barrier, and I like to tuck it to the inside, again, stay off the turtle, but stay into the inside. I think it's actually faster and smoother to do that, because the further out you get, the more suspension undulation you're going to get because of the difference in the pavement. So watch out for that.
And watch out for everyone who's not watching out for that.
Oh yeah.
You could come through there with this absolutely gorgeous line, and then the car in front of you, something with a solid rear axle, totally does a 360.
Yeah. It's a very late apex. It's bumpy. There's elevation change. Like, you're going to have to figure out how it works for your particular car. And there's a lot of other crashes and spins here, so just be careful. So
now, who spun Betty here?
I did.
How many times?
Once.
I thought it was twice.
And then Darren immediately spun his first lap out and Betty too at the same spot.
I thought you spun it twice.
Got Betty. No,
Which, if you're following along in your bingo card, that's booty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how we knew we had to change the suspension when both Darren and I immediately spin a car. Something's wrong. Like if the two of us do that.
I spun it. Nobody cared. That's just like, well, just an idiot. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. But when Chris spins
but
a
you
car,
spun it in 2.
Oh no!
I spun it in 12.
Down the straight. You spun it right down the straight.
I just watched a video recently. Yeah,
it's just as in my memories because it obviously happened here.
And that's when you threw your watch out the window too. You're like, I don't want this watch.
Oh, did
I don't know if that was the same race.
I thought it was. Oh well. All right. So 10. The other thing about 10 is it gets very wide and then narrows down a lot as you come into this. So this track map doesn't have a number on the turn after 10.
That thing.
Yeah.
There's like 3 turns between 10 and 11.
There are. So after it widens out after 10, and then you're coming into the first left of the north chicane. It gets very wide, which is good for passing if you have the power to do it, and then it gets very narrow. There's also a huge gaping chasm of a hole on the outside here because of how many people have hit it. So be careful there.
This entire next section has just pits on the other sides of each gator.
Everywhere. Like I once did too well through 10. I tried something new. It didn't work. I was understeering. I wasn't going to make it. I was going to hit that curb. So I totally bailed and went into the grass just to avoid hitting.
Oh, I thought it was in where 11 is. I was thinking that was where the big bump is. Okay.
There's a bump on the outside of 11 too. There's everywhere here.
It's everywhere. Just like they told Max today on the radio, you need to be aware of track limits. Please stay on the road.
Mm-hmm. Totally. So realistically, you kind of need to be single file coming into the whole North Chicane complex.
We're really in a train. We're gonna be a train.
You set yourself up a train. Yep, it's terrible, but it works. If you have a boat, it's a great place to show someone your transom because they'll back off if you're on the inside. That worked out great. So get yourself in single file if you can. It's hard to go more than that. Or if you go too wide, you lose so much speed. You're better off actually going single file through here. So this is, wiggle left, wiggle right. And then as you're coming through the last left.
Watch that core station. It's really important because they will know what's going. If there's something on the front straight, they will hopefully tell you there. So that's absolutely one of those you have to watch.
Because there have been sometimes this front straight is totally backed up and you can't see a thing.
Yeah, no, they will wave it, and because that's where the track off is, so they will tell you that something, if they're going off, if there's something blocking track off, and that's really important. Tracks, corner station.
So you're a track off.
Oh wow, thanks.
Hey, track off. All right, so we're watching out for all the giant car crushing potholes everywhere, trying not to push wide. 12 is then the other thing at 11, that is how you get back into pit lane, is on the very left side, and it's abrupt. You have to be ready for it, and also be ready for other people to do it who aren't very good and have never done it before and aren't used to it. So watch out.
Remember the train? If you're on the wrong side of the train, you're not getting to pit off.
Yeah, totally. All right, so 12 is the way you get back. It is back onto the straight. It's pretty simple. There's a bunch of cones on the left-hand side. Half of them will get knocked off. But the thing to worry about, though, is that where the cones stop is a concrete wall. That is the pointy end of a concrete wall. So careful, because then someone's going to try to squeeze up your inside of there, and there's all of a sudden nowhere to go, and they weren't looking up, and they're going to come over into you. Ask me how I know. Orange BMW.
Yeah.
So
can I say something about 12?
Yeah.
The nastiest crashes that I have seen in Lemons happens at 12 in New Hampshire.
Yeah, because you're going full send, and at the end of the day, you're into the sun. You can't see a thing coming around that corner.
But you would think people would crash in one when they're at full speed, I guess not, because you just kind of go away into the
in
NASCAR
one, there's
ball.
so much runoff from. There's all kinds of places to go.
So many people spin in 12. So many people hit the wall. I mean, the Mustang, like the Malachi Crunch. I already mentioned that I spun here. The 914 with the LS. Yeah, people hit the wall everywhere here, and it's not that hard. Everyone watch, just like Chrissy said. Chrissy's right all the time. Listen to her. See the flag station. Know what's coming up.
And then
Careful.
Eyes up as far as you can, because the track widens out really nicely for the straight. So just be patient coming through the 11-12 complex and get your passing done on the straight, or get people by you on the straight. It's simple. Just be patient there and you'll be fine. The straight is wide enough that 3 wide is no problem. I've seen and done 4 wide there too. If everyone's all right, you can do it and get that straight done. It's not a high speed straight though. I think realistically, like, we're only seeing like 100 at most, even in our faster cars. Like it's not a very high speed straight.
No, it's a nice big open place to just get a lot of passing done.
Yeah, totally. So then you're coming into 1A and 2. So 1, there's 2 lines through 1. There's the faster line and the defensive line. The faster line is you stay out wide at 1. I don't brake here until after the 1 board. Again, the boards are up on the fencing on the side.
Yeah, the NASCAR fencing, catch fencing.
Yep. Like your braking zone, if you're taking the wide line, is the 1 or a little after it. And then you stay wide on the banked part of the oval. Do your braking there and turn and gradually bring yourself down to the inside of the curbing, so that right where the curbing ends at the end of 1, that's kind of your apex, because all you're really doing is carrying as much speed as you can down the straight into 1. 1A is a throwaway corner to set yourself up for 2. So you don't care about how you get through 1A. You care about how you come out of 1, and you care about how you go into 2. So if you're staying the fast line, you can stay up high, brake on the banking, turn yourself down in. Apex is at the kind of end of the curbing on the inside. The defensive line is you tuck all the way left at the end of the straight into 1, right past the flag station, right kind of along the curbs, all the way on the inside. That keeps people from dive bombing on the inside. It's a little slower, but it's not that much slower, and it keeps keeps people behind you if you're really fighting with somebody. So then 1A is
I probably defensive 50, no, not 50%, 30 to 40% of the time.
Yeah. It totally depends on traffic, especially with 100 and something cars on this.
When you're in traffic, I just feel like what you're calling the defensive line is like the where I end up.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to pass people and we don't have the highest horsepower car. I end up on the inside and I take the defensive line, and that faster car who thought he was going to pass me ends up staying behind me.
Yep. Totally. So then 1A, this is where a lot of people screw up 1A and 2. So the fastest way through here is after you come out of 1, you turn to the right on 1A, and then you need to not track out at all. Like at all. Stay all the way to the right on 1A. People come through 1 and they go through 1A and track way out wide, and then they just ruin themselves for 2, which is a nice little straight between 2 and 3 where lots of passing happens. So beware the people who are tracking out of 1A. So if you come through 1A, stay right. There's like a nice straight stretch.
Out of 1A, you're moving towards the inside of the track.
Yeah, toward the infield, to your left.
Toward the infield, yep.
Don't do that.
Because when you say out, sometimes people think they mean tracking out. Because it's kind of a straight. You can almost clip 1 to 1A.
Yep. Stay right at 1A. All the way around. Stay right, because that'll set you up nicely for 2, which is a much more important corner. Because coming to 2, now you're hitting the banking and you got a long straight. So the way I think is the fastest is stay even and settled and suspension unloaded for the little tiny straight out of 1A, and then turn in really late so that you're kind of coming up along the cones for the blend line out of 2. because this lets you come through, do most of the cornering on the banking of the oval, and lets you be on the gas for a lot longer. And you'd be surprised at how much traction there is. And like, you're worried about, you look at the wall at the top of the oval, you're worried about it, but it takes a long time to get up there. And use the banking that's there to your effect. Get on the gas earlier because of it. If you have a late enough apex, you can, and that carries you all the way around out of 2, and just between 2 and 3, go wherever your car naturally goes. That's fine. And
wherever the idiots aren't.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And that sets you back up for 3, which we already talked about.
This is funny because I know this is not 100,000% accurate, but it really feels like when you get on the straight, you're still in the banking a little.
Yeah, it is. It's yeah.
But if the people that do it wrong end up out here, like they end up way wide and up by the wall early in the corner, and then they have to back out and they can't do it.
Or they try to muscle their way into it then they get mad because no one made room for them because they took a stupid line.
Right. And then they end up being too slow. So stay straight after 1A, cut late apex at 2, use the banking.
Watch for people coming on the track.
2 into 3. Yeah. Seriously, watch out for people in the bloodline. Watch out for people on the other side. Like again, Clemens, watch out for everybody. But avoid the mistake of tracking out of 1A because it ruins your 2.
Watch that flagging station as well.
Yep.
The guy sitting behind a cage.
Yep.
Another impossible to miss flag unless you're a complete fool.
Yeah. But it's helpful to look up for it.
It's not as impossible to miss as like 3 or 5.
Right.
Those are really important to miss.
Yeah.
Okay. Say hi to Johnny B. Kisses gnomes if you do something bad. And yeah.
Gnomes are Halloween, aren't they? I mean, I know they're Christmassy too. But...
and